Hello everyone, it's me, FelNE, and this swift and also tricky behemoth is one that will test your dodging skills. So today, I think it's time we learn more about this mantis-like creature in this week's behemoth breakdown. Going right into the behemoth states, its Aethercharged State will include a couple of new attacks and enhance some of them with shock properties. At the end of the state, the behemoth will glow, then jump and stab the ground, releasing a shockwave in the process. Onto its Enraged State, Sahvyt will become very aggressive. Its Lunge attack will move much faster and cover a greater distance, while its Sweep will turn into a series of 3 swings. If the behemoth happens to be Aethercharged as well, Sahvyt will be able to toss a second blade during its ranged attack. At the end of the Enraged State, the behemoth will be exhausted and exposed for a couple of seconds. Now that we have covered the behemoth states, let's go over the attacks that Sahvyt has at its disposal. Crossing both of its blades, this Aethercharged move will allow Sahvyt to send a wind-like blade. Moving over to the left or right will allow you to avoid this move fairly easily, but if you happen to be facing 2 behemoths, make sure you watch out for this move. Plus, don't forget the second blade toss I mentioned earlier if the behemoth is also enraged. This next attack, Sweep, has 2 versions and a couple of variations for each one that tend to trip up players. It is very important to pay attention to this behemoth's position, stance, and its behemoth state, so you can determine when to avoid each sweep. The first version of Sweep, Sahvyt will face you and then bring one arm back and swiftly swing at you. It's quick, but it does give a little bit of leeway to dodge even after the blade passes by. During the Aethercharged State, Sahvyt will delay the attack on purpose to throw off your timing and inflict the shock debuff if you happen to get hit. It is a little tricky at first, but once you fight this behemoth a few times, it does become a little bit easier to avoid. As for its Enraged State, like I mentioned before, this attack will turn into a series of 3 hits. If you dodge the first swing, you'll be safe from the other 2 swings as long as you're not in front of the behemoth. If both states are active, Sahvyt will mainly use the 3-swing attack, but be careful since the behemoth can also use its delayed swing to throw a player off. Alright, onto the second version of Sweep. The behemoth will face the player with one of its sides, bring an arm all the way up, and drag the blade on the ground as it swings. While this move may not be as fast as the first one, it does cover a wider area. During its Aethercharged State, this attack will release a stream of lightning that will inflict shock to those unlucky enough to get hit. It's easy to avoid if you're avoiding the swing itself, but if you're further out, be prepared to dodge the lightning or get out of its way. Bringing both of its arms, the behemoth will spin around, striking those close by. It's a fairly easy move to avoid once you get the hang of the timing. Just be aware when it's Aethercharged, this move can inflict the shock debuff. When a player is behind the behemoth, Sahvyt will slash vertically as it backflips, which also leaves a line of electricity on each side of its body. Believe it or not, this move does have a small safe area that sits between the behemoth's blade and the electricity itself that you can use if you're unable to dodge. A common move to see, the behemoth will pull back an arm and launch forward with its blade pointing out. While this move is fairly short and pretty easy to avoid, this can quickly change once it's enraged, causing this move to become much faster and cover a ton of ground in a short time. Luckily, there is a neat trick to avoiding this. Like most, you can simply dodge the attack but move over to the side that is opposite of the arm the behemoth is using. You can easily avoid this attack without dodging. Alright, that should cover everything you need to know about this behemoth and its swift attacks. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope to see you in Dauntless.